Welcome back, fellow seekers of truth. Today we are exploring a topic that generates both intrigue and controversy: semen retention. Is it truly beneficial, or does it carry hidden downsides? Does abstaining from ejaculation improve our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, or is this idea largely misunderstood? In this video, we'll explore this concept through two major lenses: spirituality and science. Semen retention has been practiced and discussed for centuries, yet in recent years it has gained renewed attention in personal development spaces. Some claim it unlocks untapped potential, while others argue it lacks substantial scientific backing. Our goal here is to strip away oversimplified narratives and get to the core of what this practice truly entails. Let's embark on a journey that bridges ancient wisdom with modern understanding. Semen retention in historical and spiritual context. Historically, semen retention has been regarded as a powerful tool for spiritual development. In various ancient cultures, the retention of semen was believed to preserve life force energy. In Hinduism, this energy is referred to as ojas. According to Vedic teachings, ojas is not just physical vitality, but the subtle essence that nourishes the body, mind, and soul. It is said that conserving this vital force strengthens the practitioner's mental clarity, focus, and spiritual resolve. The concept suggests that by retaining semen, one prevents the loss of energy necessary for spiritual growth. In Taoism, semen is considered an extension of qi, the life energy that flows through all living beings. Taoists believed that sexual energy, when not squandered, could be transformed and used to nourish the body, leading to longevity and enhanced vitality. The famous practice of Jing retention, where Jing refers to sexual essence, was seen as key to achieving inner balance. Taoists who practice this would focus on transmuting sexual energy into spiritual energy, allowing them to cultivate greater peace, mindfulness, and awareness in their daily lives. Likewise, various religious ascetics, including Buddhist monks and Christian mystics, advocated celibacy as a path to spiritual enlightenment. For these practitioners, semen retention wasn't merely about physical health, but about controlling the most basic human desires to focus on higher consciousness. The idea was that, by avoiding indulgence in sexual pleasure, individuals could channel that powerful energy into devotion, meditation, and self-realization. This sense of control over one's sexual impulses became synonymous with mastery over oneself. However, not all spiritual paths advocate complete abstinence. Some traditions, such as tantric practices in both Hinduism and Buddhism, see sexual energy not as something to be avoided, but rather as a force to be harnessed and transformed. In Tantra, sexual union is seen as a powerful gateway to enlightenment, provided it is practiced with awareness and intention. For these traditions, the key is balance, understanding when and how to use sexual energy without allowing it to dominate the mind or body. The spiritual implications of semen retention. From a spiritual perspective, semen retention is often considered a tool for deepening one's connection to the self and to the universe. The core belief is that sexual energy is one of the most potent forces we possess, and that it can be consciously channeled to fuel spiritual progress. In many spiritual teachings, desire and lust are viewed as distractions that pull us away from a higher understanding of reality. Therefore, controlling and redirecting sexual energy becomes a powerful method of self-discipline and self-purification. In meditation practices, for instance, sexual energy is often said to influence the quality of one's inner experience. Those who practice semen retention claim they experience deeper focus, heightened awareness, and a clearer mind. By holding on to this energy, they feel it amplifies their meditative efforts, allowing them to reach states of higher consciousness. The energy that would have been released is instead thought to rise within the body, nourishing not just the physical system, but also the mind and spirit. The esoteric belief, especially within systems like Kundalini Yoga, is that sexual energy, when properly cultivated and preserved, can activate higher chakras and awaken latent spiritual potential. Kundalini energy is said to lie dormant at the base of the spine And through practices like meditation, breathwork, and semen retention, this energy can be directed upward to the crown chakra, leading to enlightenment. In this way, semen retention is not merely about abstinence, but about intentionally conserving and transmuting energy to fuel spiritual awakening. That being said, the path of semen retention is not without its challenges. Many practitioners report that it requires significant mental strength and emotional maturity to navigate. The suppression of sexual desire can lead to inner conflict if not approached with the right mindset. Without adequate spiritual practices to channel the retained energy, one may feel frustrated or distracted. Thus, in many traditions, semen retention is not seen as an isolated practice, but as part of a larger framework that includes meditation, mindfulness, and self-inquiry. Scientific perspective on semen retention. Moving from spirituality to science, what does modern research say about semen retention? On the surface, semen retention might seem like a practice rooted solely in ancient traditions, but there are physiological explanations that support some of its claims. To begin with, semen is not just a simple fluid. It contains a variety of important nutrients and hormones, including testosterone, zinc, and proteins. The argument made by proponents of retention is that conserving these nutrients allows the body to redirect resources towards overall health and vitality. A study conducted in 2003 found that abstaining from ejaculation for 7 days led to a significant increase in testosterone levels in men. Testosterone is a hormone associated with energy levels, mood, and muscle growth, and some proponents of semen retention suggest that maintaining high levels of testosterone helps them feel more driven and focused. This scientific observation aligns with some of the subjective reports from individuals who claim that semen retention gives them greater clarity and energy. On the other hand, scientific research also suggests that regular ejaculation has its own benefits. Some studies indicate that regular sexual activity can reduce the risk of prostate cancer and improve heart health. In addition, ejaculation triggers the release of endorphins and other feel-good hormones like oxytocin, which help reduce stress and promote feelings of well-being. From a physiological standpoint, the release of sexual energy might play a role in maintaining emotional and psychological balance. While the long-term effects of prolonged semen retention are still under-researched, modern science acknowledges the complexities of sexual health. Just as overindulgence in sexual activity can lead to exhaustion and imbalance, complete abstinence without proper mental and emotional regulation might result in negative side effects like irritability or stress. The key, as some researchers suggest, might lie in moderation and understanding one's individual needs. Balancing science and spirituality. As we can see, both spirituality and science offer valuable insights into the practice of semen retention. From a spiritual standpoint, semen retention is seen as a method of conserving vital energy, allowing one to cultivate self-discipline and tap into higher states of consciousness. The idea that sexual energy can be transmuted into spiritual energy is a powerful motivator for those on a path of spiritual growth. But it is also important to recognize that this practice requires dedication and a mindful approach. Simply abstaining without purpose or understanding can lead to frustration rather than enlightenment. From a scientific perspective, semen retention does have some physiological effects, such as boosting testosterone levels in the short term, which may contribute to feelings of vitality and focus. However, the science also highlights the benefits of regular sexual activity for mental and physical health. The key takeaway is that semen retention, when practiced mindfully and with balance, can potentially enhance both spiritual and physical well-being. Ultimately, the decision to practice semen retention should be a personal one, informed by a combination of spiritual goals and an understanding of your body's needs. As with any practice, it is essential to find a balance that works for you. There is no universal answer as to whether semen retention is good or bad. It depends on the individual and the context in which it is practiced. Psychological and emotional dimensions of semen retention. While we've explored the spiritual and scientific aspects of semen retention, the psychological and emotional dimensions of this practice deserve careful consideration as well. Many practitioners report that semen retention leads to increased self-control and mental clarity. By actively choosing to refrain from ejaculation, individuals often feel a heightened sense of discipline, which can spill over into other areas of life such as work, relationships, and personal growth. From a psychological standpoint, this increase in discipline may foster a sense of mastery over one's urges and desires, leading to greater confidence and mental resilience. In a society where instant gratification is readily accessible, especially through the digital landscape, the practice of delaying or abstaining from sexual release can cultivate a mindset of patience and long-term thinking. This can be empowering for individuals who struggle with impulse control or addictive behaviors, allowing them to gain a stronger sense of self-regulation. Emotionally, some practitioners describe a sense of heightened masculinity, strength, and purpose. By holding onto their sexual energy, they feel more connected to their core identity and sense of personal power. Semen retention has been likened to a form of inner alchemy, where sexual energy is transformed into creative or intellectual pursuits. The emotional benefits often include a clearer mind, reduced anxiety, and enhanced mood stability, especially for those who pair the practice with meditation or other spiritual practices. However, it's crucial to recognize that these emotional benefits are not universal. Some individuals report feelings of frustration, irritability, or agitation, especially in the early stages of practicing semen retention. This can stem from a lack of proper outlets for the retained energy, or from an excessive focus on controlling one's sexual impulses without balancing it with emotional and mental well-being. For some, semen retention may heighten sexual urges or lead to fixation on the very thing they are trying to manage, creating an internal tug-of-war that causes stress or discomfort. Therefore, the psychological impact of semen retention is complex and varies widely between individuals. To maximize the emotional benefits, it is essential to pair semen retention with mindfulness practices, emotional awareness, and a balanced perspective. Otherwise, it may lead to psychological strain rather than the intended spiritual growth. Practical tips for practicing semen retention. Semen retention, when done with intention, can be a transformative practice. But how can one integrate it into their life in a sustainable and mindful way? For those interested in exploring semen retention, it's important to establish a framework that includes not just abstaining from ejaculation, but cultivating a holistic approach to personal growth. First, understand that semen retention is not just about suppressing sexual desire. It's about channeling that energy into other areas of your life. Meditation, creative expression, physical exercise, and intellectual pursuits are excellent outlets for this energy. By focusing on productive and meaningful activities, the retained energy can be transmuted into a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. For many practitioners, daily meditation or breathing exercises help redirect sexual energy, calming the mind and reducing frustration. Second, consider practicing semen retention in cycles. While some choose long-term retention, others find that intermittent periods of abstinence combined with mindful ejaculation offer a more balanced approach. For example, some might choose to abstain for a week or a month at a time, while others may experiment with longer periods. The key is to listen to your body and mind and adjust accordingly. Retention should not feel like a forced discipline, but rather a mindful choice that aligns with your broader goals of self-improvement and spiritual growth. Third, maintaining open communication with your partner is essential if you are in a relationship. Semen retention can impact your intimate life, so it's crucial to ensure that both partners are on the same page. For some, the practice of semen retention within a relationship can deepen emotional intimacy and encourage non-sexual forms of bonding. For others, it may create tension if not handled with transparency and mutual understanding. Finally, be patient with yourself. Semen retention, like any practice, requires time and adaptation. It is natural to experience moments of challenge, frustration, or doubt. The important thing is to remain grounded in your intentions. Are you practicing semen retention to gain greater control over your urges, to enhance your spiritual practice, or to explore the benefits it might offer your body and mind? Keeping these motivations clear will help guide you through the process. Addressing common myths about semen retention. With the rise in popularity of semen retention in personal growth and spiritual communities, various myths and misconceptions have surfaced. It's important to debunk some of these myths to provide a more balanced understanding of what this practice really entails. One common myth is that semen retention leads to superhuman abilities. Some proponents claim that retaining semen will unlock supernatural levels of focus, strength, or mental clarity overnight. While semen retention can have benefits, it is not a magical shortcut to enlightenment or invincibility. Real personal growth requires consistent effort, self-awareness, and discipline across all areas of life. Semen retention may serve as a useful tool in this process, but it is not the sole key to unlocking one's full potential. Another misconception is that ejaculation is inherently harmful. While excessive indulgence in sexual activity can lead to fatigue or lack of focus, occasional ejaculation is a natural part of human biology. Scientific research supports the idea that regular sexual activity can have positive effects on mental health, immune function, and even longevity. Therefore, the notion that ejaculation is purely detrimental is oversimplified. The balance, as always, lies in moderation and mindful practice, whether one chooses to ejaculate or retain. A further myth suggests that semen retention is only beneficial for men. While much of the conversation around semen retention focuses on men, women too can engage in practices aimed at cultivating and redirecting sexual energy. Though biologically different, women can benefit from practices like sexual energy cultivation, such as those found in Taoism or Tantra, where the focus is on harnessing and transforming life energy for personal and spiritual growth. Semen retention is part of a broader conversation on sexual energy that applies to all individuals, regardless of gender. Finally, it is important to address the idea that semen retention is a quick fix for all personal or spiritual problems. While it can be a powerful tool, its benefits come when combined with other practices that support holistic well-being, such as mindfulness, emotional intelligence, proper nutrition, and exercise. Expecting semen retention to be a cure-all solution is unrealistic and may lead to frustration. Instead, approach it as one piece of a larger puzzle in your journey toward self-improvement and spiritual growth. Semen retention and creativity. Another aspect of semen retention that is often highlighted by practitioners is its impact on creativity. Many individuals who engage in retention report that the process gives them a boost in creative energy, allowing them to channel this vitality into artistic, intellectual, or professional projects. But what is the relationship between sexual energy and creativity? To answer this, we need to explore the link between sexual energy and creative energy in both psychological and spiritual contexts. From a psychological perspective, sexual energy is not just about physical desire. It is closely related to our drive, ambition, and creative instincts. Sigmund Freud famously discussed the concept of libido, which he viewed as a life force that encompasses not only sexual desire, but also our creative and productive energy. In this sense, when sexual energy is conserved through semen retention, it may be redirected toward other outlets, leading to heightened creativity and productivity. In spiritual traditions, particularly in practices like Tantra, sexual energy is often equated with the force of creation. This is not limited to procreation but extends to the creation of ideas, art, and new life directions. By practicing semen retention, many believe they can harness this potent creative force and use it to fuel their life's work, be it in writing, art, music, or entrepreneurship. The underlying principle is that when we conserve our sexual energy, we retain the raw material needed for creative breakthroughs and innovations. Practitioners of semen retention often emphasize the importance of channeling this energy consciously. Without an intentional outlet, the energy may remain stagnant or even become frustrating. Therefore, individuals who practice retention frequently engage in other creative activities, such as journaling, painting, writing, or even learning new skills. These activities allow the retained energy to find expression in ways that contribute to both personal fulfillment and external success. The role of sexual energy in personal relationships. One of the less discussed but highly important aspects of semen retention is its impact on personal relationships, particularly romantic or sexual partnerships. For individuals in relationships, the practice of semen retention requires a high level of communication, understanding, and trust between partners. It can lead to a deepening of intimacy, but it can also create challenges if not approached with mutual respect and clarity. For those who practice semen retention within a relationship, the focus often shifts from sexual intercourse being a purely physical act to a more emotionally and spiritually enriching experience. Some practitioners report that semen retention helps them view their partner in a more holistic way, leading to greater emotional connection and intimacy. By not focusing solely on ejaculation, they claim to cultivate deeper bonds of affection, understanding, and shared growth. Additionally, some spiritual traditions, particularly Tantra, emphasize that sexual energy can be used not just for physical pleasure, but for spiritual connection between partners. In this view, retaining semen during sexual encounters allows individuals to channel their energy toward enhancing intimacy, rather than dissipating it through orgasm. This concept is sometimes referred to as sex without ejaculation or orgasmic control. In such practices, the goal is not to suppress pleasure, but to transform sexual energy into a powerful bonding force that nurtures both partners' growth. However, challenges may arise when one partner is more committed to semen retention than the other, leading to potential misunderstandings or feelings of frustration. Open and honest communication becomes essential. Both partners must be aligned in their intentions and find a way to balance sexual needs and desires within the framework of retention. When approached with mutual respect, semen retention can lead to a deeper and more fulfilling relationship dynamic. Potential downsides and misuse of semen retention. While many proponents of semen retention tout its benefits, it's important to discuss the potential downsides or risks associated with the practice. As with any practice, there is the potential for misuse or misunderstanding, particularly when individuals adopt retention without considering the broader context of their mental, physical, or spiritual well-being. One of the risks associated with semen retention is the possibility of developing an unhealthy fixation on control. For some, the desire to retain semen can evolve into a form of obsession, where the practitioner becomes overly focused on avoiding ejaculation at all costs. This can lead to unnecessary pressure, guilt, or feelings of failure when natural sexual urges arise. Instead of leading to spiritual growth, this extreme focus can cause mental strain and lead to anxiety or frustration, detracting from the intended benefits of the practice. Additionally, practitioners may experience physical discomfort such as tension or restlessness, especially if there is no clear outlet for the retained energy. Some report experiencing blue balls, a mild but uncomfortable sensation caused by prolonged sexual arousal without release. While this is generally harmless, it can cause discomfort if not managed properly. This highlights the importance of having balanced outlets for sexual energy, such as exercise, creative expression, or spiritual practice, to ensure that the retained energy is directed productively. Another downside that is occasionally mentioned is the potential for feelings of isolation. In a highly sexualized world, where societal norms encourage frequent sexual activity and gratification, those practicing semen retention may feel disconnected or out of step with peers. This can lead to social withdrawal or a sense of alienation if the practice isn't integrated in a healthy, well-rounded way. For this reason, many practitioners benefit from being part of supportive communities where they can discuss their experiences and challenges without judgment. Lastly, it's worth noting that semen retention, like any practice, is not for everyone. While it may offer benefits to some, others may find that it does not align with their personal, sexual, or spiritual needs. It is important to approach this practice with an open mind, but also with awareness of one's own limits and desires. The goal should always be self-improvement, not self-denial for its own sake. Final thoughts. So, is semen retention good or bad? The answer is nuanced, as it depends on how and why you are engaging in the practice. Spiritually, semen retention can be a powerful tool for transformation, offering an opportunity to deepen your connection with yourself and the universe. Scientifically, it has some potential benefits, but these must be weighed against the natural biological processes that regulate our well-being. At the end of the day, this journey is deeply personal. It's important to approach the topic with a balanced mindset, ensuring that you're aligned with both your spiritual aspirations and your physical health. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe if you want to continue exploring the intersections of spirituality, science, and self-growth.